Hello and welcome back to Problematic Pop Culture. Today we're back with me, your host and researcher, Jules Castillo, and Evan Haggard from High Media. So today we're gonna go
What's up?
over a Black Mirror episode I liked, and we're gonna be revisiting Twilight because I had a video that went like fetus viral on TikTok, critiquing how we interpret Bella as a flawed character, even though that's not fair because she was a child, and my frustrations with the lack of engagement when it comes to talking about the Quileute people in real life and how they were affected by the likes of Stephanie Meyer. And then we're just going to end on my critique of social media in general. And we're going to shit take on some unpopular opinions just to lighten the mood a bit because I might get a little bitchy. So,
I mean,
yeah,
Twilight is never not problematic either.
it is. It was the first episode, actually, of Problematic Pop Culture. I'll probably just title this episode Revisiting Twilight. But before we get into that, actually, no, let's talk about Twilight first. So, did you see the TikTok that I made, or can you pull it up? You know, the one that's got like almost 25K right now.
25K? Hot damn, I've only ever got at most 9. Good on
The
you.
most, thank you. The most I've ever gotten was 60K, but that one's not tagged because like the Palestinian posts, like my friend
Get shadow nuked.
Yeah, so I put them in the pinned. But yeah, I want to hear your take on it, and maybe we should go through the comments too.
Those are gonna be a joy. Yay.
Oh, I want to hear your reaction to the comments. I feel like you'll have jokes.
It's the most pinned one. You said the one that says 25K.
Yeah, it's like maybe it's yeah.
Got it. All right, cool. So let me yoink this over to. Man, I really need to just bite the bullet and get the and like set up my fourth monitor and figure out how to fit it on this desk. Sheesh.
You're the techie guy. I don't know how to do anything.
It's alright. It's fine. It's my hobby. I suffer.
You are what my dad is to my car to me when it comes to this podcast. Like, I didn't even fill up my own tank until I was married.
If it makes you feel any better, I probably know less about cars than you. Meadow is the one that knows cars in our relationship.
By the way, happy birthday to Meadow.
Yes, his birthday was the 19th. She had a SpongeBob themed birthday party with her friends. She went as Sandy. I helped her I helped her make a T-shirt for like the suit and and she went and got faux fur and used her art degree to make a actual tail. It was impressive. Okay. All right, we'll continue. All right, let's play. All right, let me also make sure that the Firefox is playing so y'all can actually hear it.
My case that hating Bella Swan or calling her cringe or whatever is really mean because she was a little kid. She was 17. Kristen Stewart was actually 17 in the movie, so
I'm so sorry, and I know this is your time to shine. I just want to say this for the record. I hate a certain era of Tumblr people who were forcing heterosexuality down this poor woman's throat. Because did you see everybody listening to this who's probably likes Jules, likes her podcast, all that, y'all have all seen Twilight, and if you haven't, whatever. But for the ones that do, know exactly what I'm talking about when you see the picture of Bella's actress along with surrounded by Kristen Stewart, surrounded by a bunch of Hooters girls who wanted to take a picture with her, and you just see in this, in her face is just like, it's just meow meow down meow meow down. No, I can't. I'm on camera. It is gay panic so blatantly.
Case dude, it's like, it didn't surprise me when she came out as gay. Well, I thought was like ballsy though was when she went on SNL and she called out Trump, who sent all those unhinged tweets talking about how she's a whore for cheating on Robert Pattinson, and she's like, if you didn't like me then, you're not gonna like me now because I'm so gay, dude.
Robert Pattinson too is like, he fucking hates this IP so much. He Robert Pattinson hates Twilight like Harrison Ford hates Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But I was about to go into a whole nother story, but I'm not about to derail PPC any more than I already have. I'm so sorry.
I do think that this picture highlights the innocence that we're supposed to see. And when you think of Edward, I know you think of this image, but you have to remember that on the inside, he is 109 years old. So, like, whenever I think about Bella Swan or think about her character flaws, I remember that she started off as this dorky little kid, pursued by an elderly man presenting this facade, but is actually this on the inside. And for context, in Midnight Sun, he is insufferable and very aware that what he's doing is wrong. He just doesn't care. And any kind of melancholic thought he has on what he's doing does not stop him from continuing to pursue a relationship with a minor. I think the fact that we talk about this creepy relationship as if it's her fault says that we still view victims of grooming as active participants. Twilight TikTok, my case that...
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
And then just read the comments. It just gets so unhinged so quick.
I can say with confidence that those who I knew to be obsessed with the romances in this movie weren't the greatest judges of character when it came to men. Just I was about to make a bad joke referencing fucking Caleb Moppet in the CPI. Oh boy. If that grown man don't get a
For real though, that made me laugh my fucking ass off. It's like, why are you in fucking high school? Get a job. Go do something. Go help the community.
Like you look old enough. You could say I'm 18. I'm just young.
Yeah, you could be like, I'm 25. I just look young. Like they lie well anyways. People just believe them.
Like shit, you can just say oh my god, it's been 10 years, like, and you still don't look a day older. I'm moisturized.
It'd just be like, I get plastic surgery. Like, stop commenting about it.
Yeah. Girl, I like cartoons that are 800 plus years old. This is one of the listen, just because the Lolita chick from Gate is not from the Gate manga / anime is 900 years old doesn't mean it's okay for you to ship him with the fucking 30-year-old dude. He has a lot of experience, but he is. See, I want to comment on this real quick because like I was like an anime guy in a past life, still kind of am to a degree, and yes, predatory, but like my thing is, I think it's also creepy when like somebody codes a character obviously is underage, but then says it's okay because they're actually a 600-year-old dragon in human form.
I know. Well, the thing is with that flaw where they're like, oh, but Edward's like, because a lot of people were saying, oh, Edward's like mentally frozen at 17. I'm like, that's just not true. That's an inconsistent writing thing that Stephanie Meyer has, because Alec and Jane, you know, the one in New Moon, Jane, she's played by Dakota Fanning, and she causes people to just like have pain. Like,
yeah, I think so.
They were turned canonically at 13. And they behave like people who've been around for a long time. They behave like adults.
Yeah. Now here's the thing,
like,
that line
like,
that line from Stephanie Myers, I would believe, because that is thematically consistent with like what vampires are supposed to represent. Vampires represent stagnation. They represent old, moneyed, powered interests who refuse to innovate and move forward. That's why they live in dusty castles. That's why they drink blood, is because they are drinking the vitality of everything that's new, because they are stagnant and refuse and are incapable of change. That is what vampires like thematically are supposed to represent, and that would be a great, and that would be okay justification, but if, like you said, there weren't characters that spit in the face of that.
If Jane and Alec are completely under control by the Volturi and don't show like immature, like, say for example, by that logic of like why they shouldn't turn immortal children or whatever, it's like, if Jane and Alec were frozen at 13, they would just be eating people randomly and not listening to the Volturi. 13-year-olds don't listen for shit. But they've been around a very, very long time and they have matured. So like Stephanie Meyer is an inconsistent writer. And that's where it's just like, also, no matter how
Teenagers are
like
feral animals. Are you kidding me? Like, have you seen? Did you ever watch old school Pokemon? Ash Ketchum, a 10-year-old from the 90s. This man is violating people on the regular with like it's like 13, like 10 to 13. This like
also,
it's unhinged.
by the way, do you think, because I know you saw the other video where I responded, like, talking about how canonically in the books, Edward did SA Bella in Eclipse. Like, she says, no, stop multiple times. And then he's like, he finally gets off of her. But somebody was saying,
I can
like,
see the 50 Shades inspo there.
yeah. And then, but somebody was trying to say, like, oh, but Bella's a terrible person because she pressured him into sex when, like, after they were married. And so many people were in the comments, like, a 17, 18-year-old pressuring a 109-year-old. Nope. Like,
Yeah, please.
what do you think that's about? Because, like, I'm pretty sure this commenter was a woman, and it's like, what do you think is, like, the inherent need to, like, hate Bella or blame Bella for her own, like, for being involved in an abusive relationship? It's like, are we not gonna talk about this? I'm like, okay, are we not gonna talk about the fact that that Edward broke her car, that Edward also put his hands on her multiple times in the books, like, in New Moon, like, when she gets the family to vote in favor of her becoming a vampire, in the book, he grabs her jaw so hard that she can't talk. And then everybody's like, "Oh, but Jacob's so terrible." And it's just like, but yeah, I another bigger point before we kind of break down.
I'll be honest, just to note, if because you asked the question like, what do I think?
Yeah.
I don't think anything. I don't spare brain cells for the asinine opinions of pick-me's.
The asinine opinions of pygmies. Okay, that's that then. But also, I like people were just like, "Oh, if I could like this twice, I would." I'm like, "I'll do you one better. Here's the Coolio people." And every time I try to make a video about the Coolio people, it just doesn't do as well if I was talking about the dummy lore of this book, and because people don't like to hear that. So say for example, you can still go and I'll put the link in this episode. I put it in my TikTok too, that you can still go to the Coolio Cultural Center and donate to their schools. You can, support the tribe and learn about their culture, not the bastardized version of their creation story that Stephanie Meyer created. And also, Stephanie Meyer didn't give a cent to the Coolio people.
Nope.
And like they have said repeatedly that Twilight was very harmful. And I brought up this essay talking about all the harmful stereotypes about indigenous people, specifically to America, that she follows, because she follows, like, it's called the magical Indian trope, and
Yeah.
like the over fetishization of Native American people. My sister brought this up really well in our very, very first episode called Is Twilight Problematic? But yeah, revisiting it, I still see online the same vitriol for Jacob, which to me doesn't make much sense because Jacob is kind of just a 16-year-old thrust into the story and at the whims of the demon god that is Stephanie Meyer writing him to imprint on a baby. And then there's so much leeway.
I still haven't seen like Breaking Dawn, the 3 parts yet in the movies, and the idea of like the imprinting on an unborn child, like I'm just like,
no, she was born. She was born when he imprinted. And then, but also that baby in the book is born with a full set of teeth.
Oh, that's not cringe at all.
And a fully developed brain. Like, kill it. Like, it's just like so creepy. But all right, moving on. I wanted to talk about. So, do you watch Black Mirror? Have you seen any of the news episodes?
I don't watch television. I'm the kind of autistic that just plays video games and sometimes listen to music.
You need to watch more television at the very least. Like, you need to watch Black.
I'll give you you can debate me on this later when we get to the uncontroversial opinion portion of the show. But my unpopular opinion is that video games are the most superior most superior visual point.
They are a superior visual medium. However, at least like play, watch Bandersnatch. It's like an interactive movie where you like play with the remote. Like at least do that. Black Mirror has a lot.
My full government name is Evan Joseph Bitchmade Haggard. I am a scaredy cat. I will not play spoopy shit.
You're such a baby. Anyways,
I am a baby. I'm a man. What do you expect?
so Joan is Awful is the newest
Sorry.
episode of Black Mirror that I've watched. And the episode is about this woman who didn't read the terms of condition when she downloaded a streaming service, and the streaming service uses like her phone, it listens in and creates like an AI TV show that's put on Netflix of her life. But it's called Joan is Awful, and it makes her look like a terrible person, which like she kind of is, but like not enough to like be like blasted all over,
The
like
internet,
media.
yeah.
Yeah. And because she like fires someone, but like it was kind of like she was just doing her job at the end of the day. Was it kind of dick? Like, does it suck to be that person? Yeah. But then she also
It's like
cheats on her
shitty Fleabag.
fiance. Yeah. She cheats on her fiance. And then what sucks too is that when she didn't read these terms and conditions, they even listened in on her therapy session when she's like making fun of her fiance because she's like, like he's so vanilla, like even the food he cooks is bland, like, and that gets put on the TV show. Anyways, she figures all this out, and her counterpart is an AI version of Salma Hayek, and they actually have Salma Hayek in the show, and she was really funny. And in the show, what really resonated with me was, in the end, when they're concluding like how the technology works, and they're about to like defeat the big bad computer and like destroy it, they explain that the reason that they're all called Joan is Awful, like all the people that signed up for the streaming service, they're gonna make them all TV shows. The reason that they're all called Joan is Awful, or say for example, Jules is Awful, Evan is Awful, is because when they made it that like Jules is awesome, Joan is awesome, Evan is awesome, people didn't watch it. And it's calling out the fact that like the internet feeds off of like human neuroticism, and it feeds on the fact that you have to look, you have to feel like you can control the narrative. And I thought that was a really powerful message, especially for like you and me, people that are on social media that have like had our moments where we're like, damn, I wish I had said this right, I wish that this had come off this way. And the kind of lesson that they really like, they lightly touch and then they just kind of get back into like the main meat of the story is that the best thing to do is just ignore it, to like
That's all
just
you
not
can
care
do.
power. Yeah. And I wanted to hear what you thought about that, because I don't know if you like if there was a show being made about you and it's like an airtight contract. That's the other part of the show. Like it's an airtight contract. There's nothing you can do about it. Would you watch it?
Mine?
Yes.
I'd probably die of anxiety because like I'm like, no, that's not what I said. I didn't say it like that. That's not what I meant, motherfucker. It's like it's like when you it's like that like old it's like that Bill Burr bit or whatever where it's like they're reading out what was said in court and shit when they were like after having kinky sex, and it's like, no, I didn't say it like that. That's not what it meant. It's like she didn't say no, stop. She said no, stop. It's different.
Oh my god.
Like it's just like I would just be watching that entire show. Just I feel like what would probably end up happening is if I was really upset about it, my friends would be supportive. If I was just like, it fucking sucks, but it's whatever. They would all immediately start binging that shit and start bullying the shit out of me.
Yeah, and the thing is, you don't make any money from it. Like you signed a terms and condition where they hold all the rights to like your life, like, and they you don't even make any money. It was crazy. I feel like
I would go off the grid or like have all my shit done through like VPNs and stuff just to fuck them.
honestly, I'd probably like if I decided to like not like if I didn't want the show to continue, then I probably would just not have like phones or anything anymore, because they get it from like your personal like phones and shit. And like
Yeah,
that's
why?
why I kept
Why do you keep that? I think the big note for that. I'm sorry to interrupt. I apologize. Is a big lesson that you didn't touch on is
why keep the phone?
maybe you shouldn't keep a constant wiretap in your fucking pocket.
True.
There's
Also,
no need for the gut. Like there's no like the like schizo people who are like losing their shit. Like, oh, the government's listening to me. Yeah, of course. You own a cell phone.
Honestly, the government's only gonna tap in if you're, like, interesting, though. Like, the people that are so conspiracy think they're like, "The government's listening in." I'm like, "Not to you. What are you doing? Like, you're not doing anything important." Like,
I mean, I've advocated for the retaliatory killing of cops who murder people with wanton abandon, so I'm definitely on a list somewhere.
I feel like for me, I would definitely watch the show, and I'm the kind of person who, like, social media, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me. Like, um, there is nothing,
Do people
about
know
social.
it's her? Do people know it's
Yes,
her?
people knew it was her. Like, for
Yeah,
me,
that's rough. That's like the really rough part about it, if I'm being
yeah,
honest.
it did affect her job. It did get her fired, on, like, a technicality that because the show said something that technically broke her NDA, then she technically broke the NDA because she signed that terms and conditions. Like, so it was a weird thing. But for me, I
Yeah,
feel
so
like I would.
sorry. I was about to go into a whole like law thing where it's like if that's what's the case, that contract could probably be rendered null and void because it is because you know she is it is it's affecting her life in meaningful ways. It is impacting contracts in ways that she has no actual control over, and and that also means that like like no matter how airtight it is, like the fact that it's affecting other people and stuff means like that like if that happened in the real world, I don't think it would be tenable. Like she might actually the person in the story might actually have some legal recourse. Sorry, continue.
I would watch it, but, um, I'm the kind of person that I would just be like, just that Ariana Grande song playing in my head, just like, "Yes, and," like, I don't care. Like, here's my thing. I think, like, a big lesson I took from it is that, nothing like, social media never gets crazy enough for people to actually lose their jobs or whatever. That's not fucking real. Like, I've never seen someone get canceled online and it actually affect, like, their real life. Like, your bosses
Unless
are
you're
not.
a right-wing lunatic.
Yeah, unless you're saying shit that's, like, outlandish or, like, dangerously harmful, but honestly, like, most people can skirt by, and I think for me, what I take away at the end of the day from social media is, like, I don't get me wrong, I appreciate all my followers, I appreciate everybody that comments, I appreciate, all the love and all that, but at the end of the day, it's like, I do not care enough about, like, random people's online's like opinions of me because like when
Yeah.
all that like this because this like show was actually really nice to watch, especially after like all the drama that went down on TikTok um earlier, like technically last year now.
Chica
And it's
bitch.
like but like for me it's just like I think that I had to remind myself was like if I have caught someone being inconsistent or like hypocritical or whatever, why the fuck should I give a fuck what they think about me? And also the bigger thing is just look away. Just turn it off. And the other thing too is that uh what I thought was funny when I started getting like burner accounts and stuff like that commenting on my shit, like just like I like to the point where TikTok, like their algorithm was like anti-bullying and anti-harassment. We have now filtered your comments for you because it was like that much volume of like these people making burner accounts and acting crazy. And I just thought about it and I'm just like, damn, you really are that obsessed that you are helping my algorithm. Like at the like I'm not making burner accounts and going on your shit because I'm not dumb enough to help your algorithm.
Yeah.
Like
That's the thing. Like like unlike with YouTube where engagement is king, like commenting, liking, like I that's why I like even in YouTube Shorts algorithm, like people commenting like makes you show up more, you know. On TikTok, it's really about the views.
commenting though, it does boost it. So it's
It
like
does, it does.
every time I saw them blasting my shit, I was like, "Oh, thanks for helping the algorithm. Like you just boosted the fucking video that you apparently didn't want anybody to see, you fucking dumbass." Like and that's the thing. It's at the end of the day, social media is like it's just online. Yes, the internet is forever, but so long as you haven't done anything like um insanely deplorable or obscene, it's not that big of a deal. And like at the end of the day, you have to remind yourself, is this going to matter in 10 minutes? Is this going to matter in 10 days? Is this going to matter in 10 months, or 10 weeks, 10 months, 10 years, if it's not gonna matter in like 10 days or 10 weeks, it doesn't fucking matter. If it's not gonna matter in 10 months, it matters a little bit. If it's not gonna matter in 10 years, it ultimately, like, it might matter for a bit, but it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the meditation that I do every time that I get like weird shit online. But anyways, we're gonna end with our unpopular opinions because we're running out of time. So I wanted to hear your unpopular opinion first because you told me before the show to prepare me, and I can't.
I did because I knew it was gonna turn into an argument, and so I didn't want to like ambush you with it. All right. My unpopular opinion is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is not a bad movie. Y'all just are nitpicky and hate fun.
Okay, but it's like it literally only did well because they had Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, and he also fucking had to sword fight on top of a fucking giant industrial tree cutter. It was fucking dope.
I remember my dad is such a big Indiana Jones fan. Like, I grew up watching Indiana Jones. I've seen all of them. And my dad, we walked out of that movie being like, it was okay. And he's like, why do these guys always have to like have a son? He's like, condoms have been around like forever. Like, he was just like, okay. And also, it's like, I just feel like the reveal that Indiana Jones had a son was so weird because it's like the mother just like randomly says it, and like the son didn't even know. And it's like, why did you pick then?
I don't know. I think honestly, I
I don't
don't
even
really
think
blame.
I think
I
she
don't
just
really.
randomly.
I mean, like consider like Indiana Jones as a man.
Also, he has a PhD. Why would you not get child support? Are you crazy? Like,
Probably because like he's like what the fuck is he gonna do? What the fuck's gonna happen, right? Like the university he works for pays for all his bullshit. He probably doesn't have any fucking money. He just traipses around the world stealing artifacts from motherfuckers and
a lot of money. It's expensive to
yeah,
travel.
but like it's the type of the type of it, that type of expensive is the type of thing that's paid through the university's budget, not his own.
Like, he's technically on sabbatical.
Yeah, it's like he's got like a TA teaching all his fucking classes and shit.
Oh, okay.
Because you got to remember, he's Professor Indiana Jones. He works at a university and shit, and but I don't know. But that's mine. What's yours? Because I'm glad I told you it beforehand because I know that like I saw your face when I initially told you, and it just the autism was showing and the pain, and you're like I'm trying not to be fucking crazy right now.
My unpopular opinion is like, if y'all are gonna have this much negative, don't get me wrong, I have negative energy for Ariana Grande. If you're gonna have this much negative energy for Ariana Grande's Yes and song, because like basically she home wrecked SpongeBob and then she puts out this song, Yes and like just not taking accountability. If you're gonna have this much vitriol for her, why do we not hold the same for Angelina Jolie? Like, I feel like Angelina Jolie really like,
Was the original Blackfish.
yeah, and like, to be honest, I like, when I think back to like when they got together, because like I was around for that. I'm 24, and I remember there was kind of like, there was people being like, oh yeah, that's like, okay, actually, I think I know what it is. Y'all don't have the same energy for Angie because Brad Pitt was hot, and you don't have the same energy for Brad Pitt when it comes to it because he's hot. But y'all are like really dogging on Ethan Slater because he's ugly and like somehow pulled Ariana Grande. And
He's
but like, what's
it's probably because he's funny. Funny
no,
guy.
I think Ariana Grande just has really low self esteem because it's not the first time she's home wrecked. Like, she home wrecked Pete Davidson, she home wrecked Big Sean, and like, it's like, don't get me wrong, like we should be equally blaming the men because it's a shitty thing to be able to be home wrecked. Like, that means you have really low moral fiber, if you can just destroy a relationship of like 5-10 years, and then say for example with Ethan Slater, he had a newborn baby, like, and cheated on his wife. So like I find them both disgusting. And the thing is, I do think that Brad Pitt actually, he was in some sort of like World War II movie, because he's always in World War II movies, and I think he cheated on Angie with his co-star. And it's like, bitch, how you got him is how you gonna lose him. Like, are you dumb? Also, he's apparently very abusive and like terrible.
Yeah.
But bigger point is, I think that people were just so like, I think like unpopular opinion. I think that like this is gonna sound so shitty, because I know a lot of people like want us to have like the same energy for the men, because you do have low moral fiber if you're able to be homeworked. But when it comes to Angie and Ariana Grande, it's like, if you are
Be a girl's girl.
Yes, be a girl's girl. And
Be
if
a
you
girl's
are
girl.
yes,
You're a girl. You should know fucking better.
yeah, but also if you are an unrealistic like standard of beauty, be fucking wise about that. Don't go after married men. You don't need to fucking do that. What kind of power? Like, that's not even like duh, he's gonna cheat on his wife. Like, there's like literally there's nothing. He didn't get with you for your personality, girl.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be real.
There's a TikToker slash OnlyFans model on TikTok named Jessie Switch, and she, you know, has unrealistic standard of beauty. And every time people says, "Oh, how do you get your bras to like do that? How do you do that?" I'm like, and like literally, there like it's like feels like almost every 10 videos is her responding to comments, reminding people, "Hey, I paid for these titties. I paid for this ass." Like,
Well,
yeah,
but the thing is like, I do think that like the psychology of like somebody who is a homewrecker, they have high self-esteem but like low self-worth. Like, like, you're Ariana fucking Grande. You're not Ethan Slater's mistress. Like,
yeah.
get a fucking grip. Like that is embarrassing. And the fact that she doesn't think it's embarrassing is like so like whatever. And honestly, I think Angie is way hotter than Brad. I'm like, why the fuck were you his mistress in the first place? You're Angelina fucking Jolie. Why the
Well,
fuck were you Brad
yeah.
Pitt's mistress? Like, ew.
I'll be
Like, there's
I'll be honest. I've been on the fuck Ariana Grande train since I found out she was actually a white woman.
Oh wait, you thought she was like Latina or something? No, she's not. She's from Boca, Florida. She's a fucking like gator nugget.
That's hence the the PPC name fan name, the Gator
Yeah, you guys
Nuggets.
are gator nuggets, because that was a
But
video that.
but the only thing I'll say to add on an unpopular opinion to further add on to yours is if y'all ain't gonna like exude social pressure en masse and show that you're actually mad about Ariana Grande's behavior this time, don't in 4 years when she does some new bullshit, don't pretend like you're upset about that too, because like she does some fuck shit every 4 year, like 3 to 4 years, and everybody's mad at her, and then she puts out a song that's a bop, and then y'all forgive her because it's the fucking Kanye West effect, and then like just like stop being a hypocrite. You know, it's like yeah.
Here's like my biggest take on Ariana Grande, because I've made videos about Ariana Grande. I do like make fun of her a lot ever since like, I guess like ever since like the blackfishing thing. I have not liked her. Like, I remember when she licked a donut and said "I hate America," and I was like, radical commie, that's funny. But then later, like when she was
Did she rip that
blackfishing,
off of Miley Cyrus anyways?
I don't know. But the point is that with Ariana Grande, like, this is a bigger conversation about homeworking. Unpopular opinion: the reason that women get more shit like for like homewrecking than men get for being homewrecked is because like, I expect men to be shitty. I expect men to be stupid. I expect them to be animals. I don't expect much from men at all. Like, hot take, I think men are generally going to do the dumb thing. With like women who claim to be girls, who claim to be empowering, who seem very intelligent and successful, it's like the lowest thing you can do is be Ariana fucking Grande, and then demote
Do this
yourself
shit.
to a mistress. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gross, and especially when they have kids. That is just
Yeah.
disgusting.
And
But anyways, we have to close this because we're going over time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we love you, Gator Nuggets, and we'll be back next week. And yeah, bye-bye.
Yep. Remember, everybody, in a world full of pick-me, be a girl's girl, be a Miley.
Be a Miley, for real.
Yeah, and I'm showing, for those listening in the podcast form, I'm showing that picture from a few years ago where Miley Cyrus is like licking the top of a cake that says abortion is healthcare. So yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Red Rundown. So, this is the lighter, more mimetic part of the show where I get to show Jules some funny shit while juxtaposing it in a political lens. So, I want to talk about this first story first, just because the second one I know I'm gonna have to do a lot of educating, and I'm just gonna be dealing you like every sentence I say is gonna deal like 2 points of psychic damage to you. So let's get the easy one out the way first. So, if I may, hide that. Over one, Google. Cool. From Mediaite. Leaked audio. Roger Stone discussing the assassination of Democrats. Did you hear about this?
I didn't.
Yeah. Mediaite, which is, the mediocre ass website that
Can we
posts
listen to the leaked audio?
Here.
Either Strawwell or Nadler has to die before the election. They need to get the message.
I'm Diana Falzone, senior media reporter for Mediaite.com. Now, earlier this week, I published a piece for Mediaite about longtime Trump ally Roger Stone talking about assassinating 2 members of Congress.
Don't mind me, YouTube viewers. I know I'm eating chicken soup out of a can. I'm very hungry, and I didn't want to put effort in.
Let's go read what you were going to read.
Roger Stone spoke with Cop Pal about assassinating Eric Swalwell and Jerry Nadler. In the story, I reported that Stone was caught on tape discussing the prospect of assassinating the 2 House Democrats with an associate named Sal Greco, a now former NYPD cop who worked for...
All right.
So wait, isn't this a fucking crime? Like, isn't that conspiracy, or is he gonna get away with it because he's Republican? Like,
he's gonna get away with it because he's a Republican operative, and probably one of the best Republican operative, who has probably kept more people at the national level in office than anybody else. Period.
God damn. So what were you gonna read?
Yeah. So I was just gonna read out. Stone wrote in a post on Twitter. I refuse to call Twitter X trans rights, but it's okay to dead name Twitter. Post on Thursday. Fake Mediaite can't produce the recording they claim to have. In another post, he wrote, Mediaite has produced no audio of me threatening 2 Dem congressmen. Where is it posted? He just did.
She just did.
Yep.
What a baddie. Where did they get this audio?
Mediaite is now publishing an excerpt of the audio, which is recorded in person at Cafe Europa, a public restaurant in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the old people capital of the world. Weeks before the 2020 election, it has been lightly edited in order to protect our source, who requested anonymity out of fear of repercussions from Stone, who they believe to be dangerous. Roger spent the election day and months prior calling for acts of violence, the source told Mediaite. I bet money it's one of the people working at that cafe.
Bizarre to me.
Can you say it again? Your mic cut out initially in the beginning.
It's just so bizarre to me that these people like they basically have immunity. Like, we're dealing with like people that operate as like oligarchs or like nobility. Like, they are untouchable. So like that's why I say like as somebody who is very electoral and like I will always vote, especially in my local community. It's just like wrong to say that, these people have ridiculous amounts of power, and it's kind of a little delulu to think that we're living in a like free democracy, because we're not. We're living in a republic, but still.
It's that what was it from? I think it was from Washington Post. It's that. Oh no, that Princeton graph that shows the voting record of Congress juxtaposed against popularity of things based that normal people want, and only the top 10% of earners in the country want. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. All right, I wasn't able to find it because I suck. But basically, there was this graph, and John Oliver even had it on a show a while back, which showed, which plotted the like ideally you have and I will say fuck it, let's pull up Paint and do it this way just because I can recreate it from memory because I suck. Let me just grab that, yoink that, screen, change windows to Untitled Paint, and now you can see. Lovely. Sorry about the shenanigans here. So basically the graph kind of looked like this, right? You had, your X and your Y, and ideally, if we this green line, I hate everything. I have grave death. This green line here is supposed to be the optimal way that this if the y-axis is the popularity of a bill, and the x-axis is how likely it is to pass. If something has low popularity, it's low likely to pass. If it has great, obviously this is how democracy is supposed to work. The problem is
wait. For the people listening on the podcast version, you have to imagine an X Y graph, and with the line going at exponential growth, steady growth based on how popular the bill is and how
at a vertical 90-degree angle or 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
So ideally, as things get more popular, things get less the things are more popular, the more likely it is to pass. What that study that I was referencing found was, for most people, by and large, let me get the paint brushes because they have they're a little fatter. And increase the size to that is. This was roughly what the line looked like. It was it wasn't straight. It was weird like this. It was just a 30% chance that no matter whether it is all the world's problems are solved forever and nobody has to pay for it, and we are throwing even more children into the orphan grinder at zero. It doesn't matter how popular a thing is. It had a 30% chance of passing.
That's crazy.
But when you look at, if you get rid of the average voter and you just only consider the amount of people in the top 10% of earners, it looked kind of like this. It basically if you a line going just a little bit below, but still very much looking more like trending upward the way it should be in democracy. You're right. America is absolutely an oligarchy. We are in hell, and I hate it here.
Okay, wait. We need to see the opening statements from the ICJ, and then we're gonna pop over after we talk about those opening statements to our live stream where we're going to watch the court case and discuss it.
Yeah, if I may, we can do that with the live stream starts at 6:15. I kind of want. I see the reason why I'm debating is, do I show you
time? We need to talk about the opening statements of the ICJ on here.
All right. Yeah. All right. Fine. I understand. It would. Oh God, it would have been so.
You speak when you're spoken to, ding-a-ling. Summer from Rick and Morty. When they're on that feminist planet.
I kind of stopped watching Rick and Morty after a while because I just didn't kind of like the vibe of Rick in a way. But I know that he probably
Rick is a terrible person.
Yeah, no, and I know that he like it kind of like had growth and stuff with time. I saw like some clips of him with the therapist, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll give it a shot again. But again,
Oh,
I hate
Rick is still
television,
terrible.
so yeah, I hate
Rick is still
television,
terrible.
so
Oh my God.
yeah.
But there's a famous audio of Summer. They go to this planet where like it's kind of like Amazonian basically.
Oh no, I see.
And
I know the exact episode you're talking about. The one where like all the women are like ascended beings living in civilization. All the men are just brutes, and Summer has to wear a burqa while he's trying to build a porta gun out of sex robots.
oh, by the way, every time you interrupt me, I get to call you Dingaling. I'm gonna start making like that's gonna become your nickname.
That's fine. Honestly, it's a habit I need to break. It's not malicious, I promise. I'm just autistic, and I really, really am excited to talk.
I know, I know.
I mean, you say that, but then think about my poor girlfriend. I'm working. I need to work on it.
She loves you.
I know she does. I really know she does. But so I did a pre-watch of the opening statements. We're not going to be able to get through it all of it here on the Red Rundown. So we're going to have like the companion stream that's going to go for a couple hours after this. But basically the gist of it is the Mr. Dr. Tal Becker basically spends his 30-minute speech gaslighting. He basically invokes the Holocaust repeatedly, and he doesn't, and he basically talks about like he shows slideshows of like people and like who have been kidnapped and stuff, and like just low res pictures of like people, and at no point actually talks about what we're doing is justified and morally okay because of these reasons. None of that. It's literally just the Holocaust happened. This entire the Geneva Convention exists because on genocide exists because of what happened to us. How dare you, accuse
Here's
us
the
of
thing.
committing genocide?
I hate when Israel invokes the Holocaust because it's like, okay, just because it happened to you doesn't mean you get to do it. Like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And the thing is that the only reason the US backs up Israel is the fact that they want a strategic base in the Middle East. That's an ally. Also, like if say for example, if
And the
Israel was
evangelicals are trying to hard start the rapture.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that what this case means is that if Israel is found guilty in an international court of law, what does that mean for the United States and what they've done to the indigenous of these lands? What does that mean for occupied lands like Puerto Rico and Hawaii that don't want to be occupied anymore, that have been saying since their illegal overthrows, their illegal invasions, hey, get the fuck out.
Critical Grace Theory, TikToker I like a lot. She had put out a video talking about this exact thing, like what happens. It's actually pretty funny. If because regardless of how this turns out, it's going to kind of set a precedent. Like it's either going to upend the entire international system as it currently exists, or it's either like the international framework we have right now is going to be completely upended, or the United States is going to lose like so much soft power and authority over the world stage that it's going to be probably detrimental to us in our economy and our nation in the long term. And that's because and that is presuming the United States continues to support Israel in all things. While I will give the Biden administration deference because I've keeping up with it, they've absolutely been very much pushing for a two-state solution and trying to like get the fucking rabid dog that is Benjamin Netanyahu and the IDF to stop snarling for 5 minutes. At the end of the day, it's like The Israel's too valuable in the Middle East, even with our governments trying to deprioritize the Middle East and moved its gaze to Africa because of like just how resources and things are working. Oil is becoming less relevant, and the Middle East is becoming a less important stage. This is really the Biden administration really, 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 really wanted to like stop focusing on the Middle East, and this happening just threw a giant monkey wrench in that plan. And it's probably going to be the reason why if Biden has any chance of losing the presidency in 2024, it will be because of Israel Palestine and because of nothing else.
I think the problem is that when we talk about a two-state solution, that's a solution for who? Because Palestinians just want to go home. Like there are there are people that they wear their keys to their homes that are now occupied by Israel on their neck as their last possessions. Like and the mean age in Gaza has now reached 14. That only happens in concentration camps. And the other thing too is like asking Palestinian people to not fight back, asking Palestinian people to accept a two-state solution is asking them to accept their genocide. And that's what I think like in the ICJ, like Israel is not going to understand because they just keep invoking the Holocaust because they think they have a free pass. Like, and what's crazy too is they really fetishize the widest possible Jewish people they can have. So like
that's a huge issue. Like the Ashkenazi, like Yiddish was outlawed in Israel for most of the 20th century. They shut down Yiddish. Yiddish publications. They're Holocaust survivors, the people they invoke and put out as throw as whipping boys for all of their atrocities, are treated like shit in Israel. And to your point, like, you want to know what happens whenever like there's like the thing is at the end of the day, like Israel, like I don't think the Palestinians should accept anything. My thing is that the two-state solution is just like I think what should happen, like by and large, is that deport everybody that wasn't born within the confines of those countries. Everybody that was and wants to fucking stay can.
The other thing too is 1/4, like 1 in every 4 people that live in Israel were not born there.
Yeah, get the fuck out. Why the fuck is some dipshit from the Upper East Side in the IDF? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, and it's like, so you actively participated in an apartheid state. And that's a thing that people don't want to talk about because people want to be like, oh, well, they're from there too. They're indigenous to there too. No, they're not.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
And here's the thing is like when they say stuff like, oh, if you don't support Israel, you're anti-Semitic. And it's like, there's
fuckface grew up in the South Loop in Chicago.
Okay, but also like Jewish, like there's Jewish Palestinians, there's Christian Palestinians that are being oppressed in the West Bank and in Gaza. And also like, I'm sorry, aren't people from Palestine also Semitic? Like, I know some people were being like, oh, like you're saying that like an Arabic, like just because the language is Semitic, that doesn't mean they're Semitic. It's like, what do you even mean? Ethically, what's the word? Like, ethnically, I think most Palestinian people are Semitic. So like that point goes nowhere.
Yeah. Well, no, because here's the thing, like Israel is capitalizing on the Western layman's lack of understanding. They are capitalizing on the fact that, like, anti-Semitic people think, oh, anti-Jewish people. When they think Jewish people, what do they think? White people that possibly have, a big nose or, a woman with big hips, like that. Like, that's it. Maybe they wear a yarmulke or some shit.
To the point of saying like, oh, like being anti-Israel is anti-Semitic. Well, isn't like being anti-Palestine then anti-Christian, like Islamophobic? Isn't it also anti-Semitic because there are Jewish Palestinians that don't agree with a two-state solution because they're from Palestine and they were not part of the theocratic ethno-state that is Israel. They're like, say for example, Norman Finkelstein. He does not believe in like the idea that Israel, like he doesn't believe that anybody deserves a theocratic ethno state. So there are plenty of Jewish people that are not Zionist. So, and they are being oppressed in the West Bank and in Gaza. So it's just whenever they say like, "Oh, if you don't support Israel, you're anti-Semitic," that's not like a real point. That's like that's a logical fallacy. I'm not sure which logical fallacy it is, but it's crazy.
Yeah. We are going to all right, so we're gonna start wrapping up. We're gonna move in between getting ready for the we got some we will have some questions for from some folks in the comments. Well, we're gonna answer those in between while we're getting ready for the live stream. I'm gonna go take care of blah, blah, blah. And if you and ladies and gentlemen, if you want to listen, watch, and participate in the Q&A sessions and listen to us recording Problematic Pop Culture and the Red Rundown live, please, on YouTube, there will be links down below, and on Spotify in the audio version, you can go to HIMedia.gg, and the join link is the first button you see. But yeah, we're going to be reacting to the ICJ's we're going to be reacting to the ICJ's the Israel defense in a little bit. So thank you guys so much for coming and listening to the Red Rundown, and thank you so much for listening to PPC before it. Even this is all one episode on YouTube, but it is split into parts on Jules' show. But yeah. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Jules, you have any last things you want to say? As your camera is buffering, we might have lost her. But
right now, I'm gonna clip that the podcast part. Wait, can you? I'm gonna clip this on the podcast part. But can you ask if I have any last words, and then I'll say what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Do you have any last words?
Free Palestine, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that sounds about right.